I know there's a lot about this that is haunting and all, but you can't deny that it's wonderful to see Ron Swanson finally become president.
Go, 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 go!
God bless America.
So Alex Garland figured it wasn't enough to do a modern war film on how the future of America is going to play out in horrific ways, and it wasn't enough to do a grizzled war photographer film. He wanted to do them both as one. And it's pretty weird, but it pretty much works. Civil War stars Kirsten Dunst as Lee, a war photographer who's been around the block and is currently about to head towards Washington to try and get an interview with the president before the insurgent forces of California, Texas, and Florida depose him. See, I thought at the start this was going to be like a president based on Trump, but then I don't think if Trump was getting attacked by certain states that they'd be Florida and Texas. So I'm pretty confused politically about what this is trying to say, and so is the film, so don't worry. And so along the way, it's basically a road trip towards Washington where Dunst and her partner pick up Keely Spenny, who's a young, aspiring war photographer. Doesn't seem like the kind of thing you should aspire to be, judging from this film. And they've also got an old fella with them. Stephen McKinley Henderson is wonderful. Seeing him in any role is always a joy. In general, this is pretty much... Actually, I think if you told me that A24 were making a war film, this is exactly what I would expect. What do you mean this is too weird to work? It's just a handing of the guard, female mentorship, all-powerful female protagonist, road trip, action thriller, role model film set in mildly dystopian America. It's a really normal genre, guys, so don't worry. So I've watched this twice now, and I think actually I liked it more the second time. Not loads more, I don't think it's a masterpiece now, I didn't the first time, but I enjoyed it a little bit more, kind of knowing what was coming and knowing almost, it sounds weird, but I almost, because I knew better this time what the film wanted to focus on, it's not that clear the first time around. You kind of keep waiting for them to tell you more about the war, and they don't. Don't go in expecting a war film, I guess. It's a character study much more than it is interested in what it's saying about America. Considering it doesn't have a ridiculously high budget, they do a good job of, I'd say, showing off this world. They do a good job of fleshing out the characters. They never flesh out the world. They do that on purpose to some degree. He does a good job leaving politics out of it. Now, that's not necessarily me praising the film for that. It does well at leaving politics out. That's clearly what it wanted to do. Was that a good idea? I don't know. And I'm not saying I need politics and everything, but this was such a politically charged idea, and the time it was coming out makes you feel like, okay, so this is what it is. And then when you watch the film, it's not what you're expecting it to be. And I almost feel like this is Alex Garland's very personal style. I don't dislike his style, but his style is very moderated. It's very centrist. I do feel like he holds back a lot in his movies. Holds back his own ideas, tries to present a more neutral view of things. That's not necessarily a bad idea, but I also think it's going to stop him ever making an actual masterpiece when he probably could. There are so many points Civil War is trying to make, so much it's trying to do, and it does make you think about a lot of different themes and ideas about what role war photographers play, about desensitization, about the tension that people must actually be feeling living in war zones like day to day. Like, it really imbues the entire film with that. But I still feel like after a second viewing, I still don't really know what like the main thing it's trying to get across is, what the gooey caramel center of the film is. I don't even know if there is one, if he knew what big thing he really wanted to like show off the most here. It's not particularly good at being a war film. It's really good at being a character study. It does its best stuff with them. When it has a chance, a scene where it can really dig further into this world and what's happened to it, it doesn't even try. And I know that they wanted to make a film in this world without necessarily it being about that world, but I feel like it could have gotten away with being an extra like half hour or extra hour longer even, and really dealt with the war at large as well as these characters. And I feel like if it had been that long, it could have done all of that. It's not, and I know that maybe they didn't have the budget to make it that long, but also I just feel like because of that, it's not as deep, it's not as meaningful a film as it really could have been. You know, I feel like there was something extra there that it just never quite breaks through to. And part of that is because it's over 100 minutes. It's not a short film, but I feel like if they wanted to do all of the things that they could have done here, it needed to be a lot longer. I don't often say that. But I'm giving Still Didn't Handle Politics as well as Captain America Civil War 4 stars. Yeah, Alex Garland, after watching this and watching Warfare in short space of time, I just feel like the style he's got is never gonna really crush something, at least for me. Like, he's never really gonna nail one. And I feel like all he has to do to make him known as a great director is get one of these right, but he just